This is a design that really surprised me. This was the art that I had to work with. Uh, we wanted to make about a 4-inch logo that would be put on a work apron. But I thought, okay, let's try. And so once I selected it and copied the image to my clipboard, opened the software, and I am using Bernina Designer 9, and then I'll hit Control V to paste, and it came in at about 10 inches, which really surprised me. I normally reduce the art that I'm working from to the actual size that I'm going to be using to digitize and then sew, but I found that I lost some detail. So I'm going to show you the steps that actually did work in the order that I did them. So with the artwork on screen, and it's about 10 inches across, I went into Artwork Canvas, and from here I needed to prepare this to convert this to stitches. So with it still selected, I went Trace Bitmap, Centerline Trace, Technical Illustration, and I didn't change anything. So we said, well, let's see what we get, and we'll hit OK. And this is showing me that it's been converted. And I'm not going to bother grouping them, or, oh, it is a group, so we're going to leave it just like it is. Now we'll hit Convert. I was amazed at the detail that I got. Now this right now is sewing a single line, and I do want to put this on kind of a lightweight canvas apron. So I'm going to change that to a triple line, but first I'm going to go ahead and take out these thin letters that I won't be using. We're going to use a Bernina font in place of it. So I'm going to use my Polygon Select and just grab the inside design. And while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and give it a different color. Right now it's black. Is that going to do it for me? It did. Okay, now these I can get rid of, so I'll delete those. I'll have my original art for putting the letter back in. So your color film has two different views. You either look at things in individual components, or you look at things by color. And so I'll take this design, I'm going to go make it a triple outline. That gave it a little bit of body. And I want you to see that when I touch T, which is the, takes it out of true view, or takes it out of the thread view, look at all these trims. All those triangles are trims. But we have a new tool in version 9, which is branching. And you can tell it where you want to start and where you want to end. But I'm going to trust this software, let it do it. So I'm going to touch Enter twice. And it's left with just very few, and we can deal with trimming those. So I thought that was pretty amazing. Okay. From here we'll go ahead and add the lettering. So I'm going to open the lettering toolbox, right click on my lettering tool, and I'm going to be selecting things to do an over arch and an under arch. And I'll be able to do this at one time. The font I'm going to be using is Times Small, which is a built-in Bernina font, and it's great that they give us the minimums. You can go outside of this, but this is the recommended. And I believe 10 worked for me. I might have to take it a little bit smaller, but let's try that. And then I'll be able to put in all my lettering at once. I want a space. So what you'll do, we don't have a middle line, so I'm going to skip. And I'll go to the third line and then type in floral design. Everything else looks pretty good. The spacing I may end up changing, but I'll know in just a minute what I ended up with. And so from here we'll say apply. Okay. And now I'm going to set my diameter. And I'm working at the baseline of these letters. And it's a little bit off. So that's what you're going to find with most artwork. It is not symmetrical, and you just kind of have to work with it. But I'm going to hold the control to try to get as true a circle as I can. I'll touch once, and then I touch my enter key, and then I get a true circle. And that's telling me that my lettering is way off, and I know why. Okay, let me back up and I'll show you why. So I forgot to make the change to my design. I was concerned about keeping this as large as I could to get the detail. But now I am going to go ahead, and I have both of these selected, the design and the stitches that are in place. I'll change my X and my Y to 0. And then I'm going to make sure that my proportion is locked. And I'll take my width to about 100 millimeters, which is about 4 inches. And we'll say okay. Now this is going to work out better. I'm going to go ahead and touch 0 on my keyboard, and that fills the screen. And already to my eye, this does not look symmetrical, but we're going to go with it. So right-click lettering and type root plus. Oh, good. See, it held this for me at least. That's great. Didn't hold my lettering. I'm going to hit the enter key. That represents the middle line that we don't need. And then the lower arch. And I'll type floral design. And again, I may need, seems like I had to change that. I'll say okay. And now we're going to set our diameter, holding control, touching enter, completes it. So I need to make a couple of changes. I'm going to right click to get my object properties. I think I'm going to go 8 millimeters in height. Letter spacing, I think 1.1 is what worked out for me. Still time small. Put it back to 1.4. The nice thing about having this apply is that I can change things on the fly and kind of scope them out, and it will, this menu will stay open for me until I hit OK. So I'm studying this. I think I'm going to let that be. If I do much to change the spacing, I'll go just a little bit. Let's try 1.5. Well, it didn't change much, but that's enough. when we touch T on the keyboard, you can see how close you're getting. Now, what I'm concerned about is the width of this tiny lettering. And so I'm going to take my magnifying glass and get in here close. I'll touch M, and my arrow is going to kind of hide it, but I can see enough about what it is. And I'll measure these stitches, and they're coming up under a millimeter, just shy. Those are fine, but I'm concerned about these narrow ones. See, they're coming up shy of a millimeter, and ideally I want them 1.1 or 1.2. And that measuring will just continue until I either hit M or escape on my keyboard. I'll go ahead and hit escape. So I'm going to take the lettering, and I'm going to go into the pull comp. The pull compensation is where I want needle, I want underlay as well. I don't know why it defaults to zigzag, because that's going to be overkill. For these tiny letters, I only need center walk. And again, I'll hit apply, but not close the menu. Under others is where we find pull comp. And I think I'm going to go 0.4. Anytime you take needle and thread to fabric, it's going to draw up, and that's where some of your puckering comes from. But also the stitches just get lost. So this will help them stand out better. Apply and OK. And now when I bring up my measuring tool again, I'll use my zoom. Let's go right in here and look at these O's, because they were the ones that were concerning me. And now when I touch, 1.14 I'm happy with, 1.2. So it's not an exact science, but it's what I can live with. And don't let this concern you. The software is exact. A design that I took off of the internet that was 1 inch tall, it's seldom going to be exact. So no one's going to see what the design was behind it anyway. So now we want to go into the Digitize toolbox, get our ellipse, and we're going to do the first one. Stretch to the side, touch your enter key, and you get a perfect circle. I'd like that to be a satin, so I'll change it here. And let's see what the underlay is. There's no need for a step. We could do an edge walk, and that would help it. So we'll do that. Okay. Now I've got one exactly where I want it. So I'll open Mirror Merge, select Horizontal, and this works such that do you see the line that my cursor is attached to? When I get it right at 0, this is going to set down in the lettering nicely. Okay. And once we turn off this pesky, I think that's going to sew out just great. In fact, I know it did, because the gal that was in class with me got up early this morning and she stitched it, and she was very pleased. So after I created it, she followed my steps and she created the design for herself, which was great. Thanks for watching.